These aren't specific pictures, but this is the general idea. Thank you.
Could I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. McKenna.
What's going to be put in the rail cars to go in the barges? Is it coming in like coal, or is what's coming out? What's going to actually be loaded into?
Imagine, here again, it could be transporting iron ore. They load, they don't unload. It's gonna be a
Well, I didn't
load.
know if they needed coal, if they were going to be like unloading coal barges to support. I mean, I don't know anything about this plant, so that's why I'm asking. I don't know what.
Grains, right?
Right. Coal, grain, whatever needs to be
But we
loaded.
really don't know.
It's a loading facility and not an unloading facility, meaning that there won't be material coming off barges simply going on.
But we don't know what exactly is going onto the barges at this point.
Only beyond what product that they're known for shipping, which is grains, coal, potential iron ore product, things like that.
Which goes up and down the river on a daily basis.
That's okay.
Well, if you can just keep all of these comments that I made and take into consideration when you make your ordinances for noise and the pollution and things like that, because it will be 80 feet from my house.
Believe me, Mrs. Uter, all of that will be taken into consideration. I honestly feel, I mean, I live in this town too. I was born and raised here, lived here 50 some odd years, right there on Mississippi Avenue by my grandmother. I would not put anything detrimental to this town, that's for sure. But on the other hand, this town, everyone knows that we are landlocked to the north, we are landlocked to the east, to the west, and we do definitely need growth.
And I don't disagree with that. You guys, please. I don't disagree with that at all. But like you said, we are landlocked. So what we have to do is that little bitty part of a town that we have that's landlocked, we need to keep it safe and clean and a wonderful place to live.
I will agree with you wholeheartedly, and so does this
Okay,
council.
Tom, if the steel mill smelter would not be coming in, would this be what's going to be behind my house? No matter what.
Yeah.
Would this be
It
coming
very
in?
well could be.
But not very well could be. If the smelter were not coming in, is this what my backyard would look like? For sure.
I can't say it would look like.
Those gentlemen are independent from Mr. Kennedy, Janine.
Yeah, they're coming in regardless.
And and why would they be running the trains in and out? What would they be doing there?
Loading.
It's a turnaround facility too. Right now, the closest turnaround is up in St. Louis. And,
So why would they
that's what
need
it's
to
got.
build a major barge port if there's really not
I
like
wouldn't
the
describe that
big?
as a major barge port. It's strictly a loading port. It's not an unloading port. And there's a big difference between the two. One involves a lot of cranes, a lot of freight, things like that. In this case, it's simply product coming either from our facility that would be down in Pittsburgh, or other grain, things like that that we transported.
But we really don't know if the smelter weren't coming in, if this is really what would be happening behind the home.
Yeah, we did. These gentlemen contacted us independently of Mr. Kennedy. In fact, they were competitors for the Pittsburgh project.
No, they weren't. We saw the emails.
They absolutely were. They made a bid to Pittsburgh. They wanted that property initially. The whole reason we developed that sublease was to avoid litigation over a potential easement up on the Pittsburgh property. All that is that you can see in the packet that I gave you there, they need an office out of flood space essentially. Well, almost all that Bradley property is floodplain. They can't put facilities down there beyond things that are able to have water over them, come down, and still be there. Rail lines and a conveyor, which obviously they assured us it's going to be behind the tree line. They're not going to clear that out with the wetland down there. They're not going to disturb that. I put it to him pretty plainly, how loud is this going to be? He said 100 yards out, you will not be able to hear that facility now.
It's a problem.
These guys are, I'm telling you exactly what they told me. And I'm happy to give you a copy of it.
He's a good sale.
If you could just keep those things that I asked into consideration when you're talking about noise and pollution, because
We
it
definitely
is in my
will.
backyard.
Let me give you this too. It's my copy of the ordinance from Independence, Missouri that we're looking at. And we're looking at other municipalities too, dealing with noise There's regulations.
We checked that, Independence has no industry in its town.
I've got a
I didn't say they did, ma'am. I said that it's one of the ordinances that we're examining.
not a good
It's going to be a comprehensive noise control ordinance.
Mr. Baker?
Turn the switch on, Brian.
Thank you. You hear me okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Talk a little louder.
Thank you for letting me address the council. I'm Roger Baker. I'm a lifelong resident of the area and a resident of Crystal City for the last 10 years. I spent most of my working career as an engineer and manager, working in the packaging business, and I'm a registered engineer in the state of Missouri. I've looked at some of the data that has come out from Wings and also from the C4 information and also from previous meetings in town. Just a little background, I decided to take a look at this and just see some of these things just didn't make sense. From the public meeting back in September, Mr. Kennedy had talked about producing approximately 150,000 tons of pig iron, and that would be output from his facility. We've exchanged a few emails and a couple of phone calls, and that size of that facility now could be as large as 2 million tons per year of pig iron. That's quite a range to put on any proposed facility to try to make an evaluation of what the facility size would actually be. The Wings proposal is to use a new technology to convert iron ore concentrates from his Wings Pea Ridge mine into pig iron. This new process is called a Technoret process. The major advantage of this process, as depicted in several of the presentations that he had made to the council and also to that were on various websites, were that this particular process would use other alternate types of fuels rather than coke. That seems to be the major advantage of such a process. The other materials could be things like waste from grain processing, wood chips, shredded tires, basically anything that's carbon-based and will burn. Debbie McKenna asked, what's going to be in some of these train cars, and Councilman DeClue said that really the train facility is for load-out. It's just to take product away. So the thing I really don't know, and it would be nice to know if you could get these answers for us, is what else would be coming in to the city as input into this process. We don't know much about this biomass, or high sulfur coal, or shredded tires. I really don't know, and haven't been able to find out how much of that material would have to be used to generate 150,000 tons a year of finished material. Wings has said that they would transport their high concentrate iron ore from Sullivan to Crystal City, which is about 55 miles, in the form of either iron ore pellets or as a 70% slurry. Now, slurry, for everybody here, is a mixture of the iron ore materials and water. If he does 150,000 tons of finished material, one of the presentations on the Technoret process would say that you need about 250,000 tons of iron ore to net out 150,000 tons of iron ore metal. But we really don't know how much coke or biomass or shredded tires or whatever is going to be needed to make this conversion. If they pump this material from Sullivan here, 55 miles, there won't be a lot of truck traffic or train traffic, but that's like 685 tons a day of material that you have to separate the solid material from the water and then do something with the water. This process, all of the literature says this process produces very low amount of slag, like 18 tons a day if you were processing 685 tons a day of material. But we really don't know about this other part, about the whatever the fuel or whatever the carbon-bearing material would be. Whatever slag is produced, Mr. Kennedy has said he can sell 100% of it to both of the cement producers in St. Genevieve County. We just don't know how much of it there's going to be.